Alright, this is my video for talking about early diversification and early specialization. Now, I think that there are a lot of different factors that go into both arguments. Um, Early diversification, very good. You get a good general base of the skills right away, of just the general skills that are needed to become a successful athlete. But with early specialization, you really get that good focus right away. But there are a lot of pros and cons to each side, and that's what I'm going to talk about in this video. So right away, we'll talk about early specialization and some of the pros and cons with that. So, some of the pros right away, um, you're really learning that skill in that sport, and you're bettering yourself more for a future in that sport. A lot of professional athletes, I heard this in the video by Max Rothwell on YouTube. In order to go to that elite level, most times you have to really specialize in that sport early. You see that a lot in sports like tennis and golf, but you can also see it in sports like football and basketball and track and field and all different kinds of sports where any kind of early specialization helps you quite a bit. But you just see that a lot. When you specialize early, you have a better chance of getting to that elite level. But some negatives from early specialization, I found this in the article by Thomas Caruso. He talked about how when you consistently use the same muscles and kind of the same movements over and over, so say you're swinging a golf club the same way, you're shooting a basketball the same way, you're making the same cuts all the time, you're more likely to injure those muscles because you're not using your other ones. You're just repeatedly using the same over and over, same movement over and over. Now, that also goes well with, that's great muscle memory and your body starts to get really used to it, but you also really start to overuse those muscles. Another reason why I disagree with early specialization is because, they say you have to work out, 4 or 5 times a week specifically in that sport. Well, a lot of that can contribute to burning out of the athlete. Unless, they also talked about a positive is you find that group of guys, the group of athletes, and you play together for all this time in that single sport. Maybe it's a club team or a travel team, or maybe even just your high school team. You really form that bond. But in my opinion, when you go out and play all these other sports and diversify yourself as an athlete, you are playing with different teammates. You're learning to play different styles. You are, learning just different styles or different ways to compete. Competing in track and field, it can be a team sport, but really it's more of an individual. You're out there and you're relying on you and yourself for that time that you're competing. Whereas, basketball, it all relies on, or you and your teammates, same with football and same with baseball. But so just diversifying yourself, it teaches you a lot better teamwork skills, and you also just learn to compete in multiple ways. In an article I read from Joseph Baker, early diversification, you're learning not more than just those, you're getting the general movements. Some sports you're doing more jumping as compared to other sports you're doing more running, or you're doing more cuts, you're doing more side-to-side movements, the lateral. So, it just kind of depends, but by getting in all those different sports, you're learning different skills. You're getting the hand-eye coordination. It just depends. Another thing that I kind of got from this is, you really see a lot of this early specialization compared to early diversification, depending on the town size that you live. A lot of small towns, they don't have the travel teams, the club teams to provide athletes with that year-round specialization where they can go out and compete all over. Whereas, some of the bigger towns, they provide more opportunities in that. But with with those smaller towns, you see, okay, so we've got a really good athlete here in basketball. He can go play football, and then we want him in track or baseball, whatever, in the spring. You're going to see that a lot. Um, just getting your good athletes out and having them better not just one of your teams, but all of them. And, I know a lot of colleges, they like, a lot of college football programs, they like to look at athletes who have backgrounds in multiple sports because, that shows, they can excel at different things. They know how to play with other teams. Um, there's a tackle, Tristan Wirfs. He plays for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He's an all-state or state champion wrestler in high school and was actually getting recruited by the Iowa Hawkeyes for football and wrestling and ended up playing football there. But that just shows that's a prime example of why early diversification is, it helps you in the long run. It teaches you a lot of good skills. So for one, this could be just more my Midwest background. You see a lot of diversification early on in sports in the Midwest, just kids getting out, trying different things. But you see that more often in the Midwest as compared to maybe the East or West Coast where, they might have opportunities to play in their specific sport year round, more opportunity, or, just better chances at doing that. But overall, I am one for early diversification. I think it's better. It'll make a better athlete. Early on, that is better. As, they get older, if they want to start to specialize more and more in that sport and really pursue a career in that, then I'm all for it. But early on, I think they should learn those just general base skills and really go out and have fun, play on different teams, play with different teammates, and learn all the great team building skills.